Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And just like every single week on these live webinar trainings, I want to make sure that you walk away with nuggets, sales ideas, new product info, new sales to be made literally this afternoon, right? If you take down notes, learn, and move the needle now, right? The rest of 25 and then into 26, because this is a niche. This is a market niche that you can go out and literally create new avenues to open doors, right? Run maybe social media ads to and posts to have a new story to tell, right? We all know about life insurance and disability and why it's important and long-term care and annuities, right? We get it, right? We know enough to be dangerous, which is important. But when we talk about the hybrid space, right, there's one major player in the industry, and that's One America. And what I find is, we have over 24,000 agents spread out throughout the country in just about every city in the U.S. And what I hear from time to time and see in the numbers is we have a few agents that absolutely crush it with One America because they know the basics, right? You don't have to sit here and be an actuary and know every single detail, but know the basics and you'll be off to the races. What I find is a lot of the agents, they stick to what they know, which is great, okay, but they never step outside. And then what happens is your clients, your book of business, your network, they're asking about products like this. And if you don't know, again, the basics, they're going to another agent. They're going to, let's say, Billy the Guru, right, who knows all about the annuities with LTC and life with LTC, right? And then you wind up losing the customer, not just for that product, but you lose the relationship, you lose other product sales because why? Because you didn't know enough about this niche. So the goal, and I told Rick, he's our main presenter today, is we got to dumb this down. We got to make it simple to understand. I want you to share some real life stories with our agents so they get it. And by the time we're done, you'll send out an e-blast or a campaign, right? Use our CRM system, whatever you want to do, but you're going to get the message out and not only talk about the least expensive term life product and the best IUL that's great for retirement planning, but you're also going to talk about long-term care, why it's important and how we can structure this into an annuity or life sale, okay, for not much more on a monthly basis or annual. Okay, that's the name of the game today, is we're going to fill that niche for you, another tool in your toolbox. Okay, what we're also going to do is at the end, I'm going to ask a question. Whoever answers first and correctly wins our IUL prospecting book and a brand new set of the latest Apple AirPods. So make sure you're on until the end, right before 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to wrap this up. If you have any questions, comments, good, bad, and different, we also want to hear from you because ultimately we create these trainings around your feedback. Okay, if we're doing a great job, kudos to us. If we're not, please share what needs to improve in your opinion. Okay, and if it makes sense, we'll do exactly that. Also, every attendee is going to get a thank you email by the time we wrap up today. So you'll have it, I would say, before 8 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be sitting in your inbox. We'll have all the brochures, marketing material, contracting, everything you need to get started. And if you're already appointed with another IMO and you say, Bill, I want to write this with you guys because I want the cash for contracting or orphan leads, wonderful. Okay, we will match or most of the time beat your existing commission. Plus, you get to take advantage of our entire turnkey sales platform, which is free. 99% of it is free. Okay, on top of that, you already know about all the benefits in customer service and everything else that goes along with it. Okay, let's jump into the first slide here. I'm going to speak for about 5 to 10, well, not even, I would say 5 minutes or so, and then I'm going to have Rick, our VP, take the wheel, and I think you're going to love his presentation. He's been around the block and knows this part of the business as good, if not better, than anyone else I know that happens to be in this part of the industry. So you're going to love today's presentation. Let's keep moving forward. Okay, Now, the opportunity, right? And I just spoke about this. It's having your toolbox, right? It's having it full. It's knowing when to use the hammer and the screwdriver and the hybrid life product or annuity product, okay? And it's saying to yourself, is the opportunity there, right? We're in 2025, right? Is this niche large enough to where I can jump in, invest some money in marketing and leads, and change my income, change my year, okay, by knowing the basics? And absolutely it is. And here's the proof in the pudding. And by the way, right, you're hearing all about AI and chat GPT and how can I use this stuff. Before we started this webinar today, all we did was go in literally to chat GPT and we leveraged AI and we asked these questions, okay? And this is what popped out in literally a half a second, okay? And here's what you need to know, okay? The basics. Let's move over to the right-hand side on the bottom, okay? This is what you need to think about as an agent, right? Where to focus your marketing. So the average cost of long-term care, right? Nursing home, private room, almost $10,000 a month. Assisted living, almost $5,000 a month. A home health aid, okay? In-home, $5,600 a month. Do you think this is important? Okay? Absolutely. Absolutely, it's important. And you have to portray this message to the prospects, okay? And now let's move over to the left-hand side on the bottom, okay? How many Americans will need long-term care this year? 70% of Americans turning 65 are expected to need some form of long-term care in their lifetime. Think about that. 70% of Americans, okay? Now, here's the last point that I'm going to make. And if this doesn't tell you you need to pay attention today, then I don't know what will. You ready for this? More than 25 million Americans remain uninsured today. Okay? More than 25 million Americans. So do you think you can get the word out? Do you think this is something that's important to talk about? Okay? Yes, you handle life insurance. Yes, you handle the annuity side, but you also need to talk about long-term care protection, okay, and guarantees, which is something we never had years and years ago, right? We all know what happened with the old school Genworth LTC standalone policy. Premiums skyrocketed. Clients had no idea what hit them. They thought their $120 a month was locked in forever until they got that premium increase letter, okay? And the block of business blew up. So you have a solution now, and that's what Rick is going to talk about today. All right, let's keep moving forward. I can't stress this enough, by the way. So anyway, what I want to speak about too is, what's important to us here at Levinson. I know I talk about this a lot, but these days you're seeing so many, even larger IMOs and BGAs, they have a back office, right? They're now selling on a retail level. They want to supplement their income. Maybe they're not doing great in the wholesale space. They figured, you know what? We already know this stuff, right? Let's open a call center and we'll sell out of the back room. Okay, so that's a conflict of interest. If you're sending an application to your IMO to process for you, and 10 feet away there's an agent selling to the same bucket of consumers, okay, hello, it's not okay. It should be illegal in my opinion. Okay, how can you be comfortable knowing you're sharing personal client info with that office and they're also selling out of the back door, and they change the name? They'll call it, let's say, Levinson and Associates, right? That's our distribution arm, right? And then they'll say Levinson and Associates V2, version 2, and they sell retail. Not okay at all. Okay, big red flag. You are our customer. You're our number one, meaning you, the agent. When we see these testimonials come in on our Facebook page, on our Google reviews link, it means everything. Okay, because you're our number one. You're our customer. Okay, you're our walk-in through the front door, so to speak. Thank you for all of your support. Great team effort on everyone's part. That came in from Rich from Jersey. It's huge. Okay, we love this stuff. It's shared within our office. We have, by the way, employees now in 4 states. Okay, everybody sees this. We do a luncheon, right? When we have enough of them come in, we do celebrations, whatever it is. This moves the needle internally. right-hand side, I received the best and very prompt service from Angela, from Mike. It's the world, okay? We say 99% of the time, we're going to make you happy, okay? And for that 1% chance that something doesn't go perfect, okay, which we're all human, Carrie and myself are here to jump in and help you, okay, to try to make it right. Even if it's at the carrier level, we're still going to try to make it right and leverage our relationships. So shoot us an email or call us if there's a problem, okay? And we're going to dive in and do the best we can. Let's keep moving forward. By the way, leave a review. We'll send you one of those prospecting books on us, your choice, either the IUL version or Mary Reed's Distribution Solutions book. Okay, great for opening doors. Okay, now there's a lot going on in the industry, as we know, technology-wise, more than ever. I've never, ever, ever, ever imagined that we would see AI, right, incorporated into underwriting platforms and marketing campaigns, right? And the way social media ads are taking off. That's the new lead. That's the new mortgage protection lead in 2025, right? You've got to know what's going on, and we're here to help you, okay? This is the alert that goes out every other week. So not only does this talk about all of our carriers, our products, our updates, what's new, what's hot, what's not, all the new technology, right? All the new tech platforms that we partnered up with so we can share these discounts and programs with our agents, right? So you have everything you need to know, like a one-stop shop, okay? If you're not getting these, let me know. That means we have your wrong email address or it's sitting in your junk folder. Very important, though. You've got to make sure that you're in the loop here. When your client says, hey, Billy, I heard about this new term with return of premium where I get all my money back and it has a disability rider built in, right? You have to know enough to be dangerous. And this will help you do that. And even if you have a question outside of this, all of our marketers, we have 11 marketers on one team, pick up the phone, send us an email, right? You can even use our chat GPT function on our website. It's called Billy the Bot. Okay, type in whatever you need to know. Let's keep moving forward. Also, new, fresh, just in here at Levinson, right? If you want to use the Insure Me Now Direct platform, if you want to start marketing more on social media, right? If you want to learn how can I incorporate AI into my campaigns, or what do you have available, Bill, right, that I can start marketing, where I can co-brand and add my image and phone number and email and website. We have one person here, okay, Wes Ayers, that literally has a tech background of almost 20 years. He builds websites from scratch with WordPress, okay, knows tech like the back of his hand, and we hired him just to help our agents with marketing and Insure Me Now Direct. So he's here. You can ask for him anytime, and he will literally help you and share enough where you can be dangerous on the marketing side, which is the goal. Okay, when we're shifting gears and we're speaking about LTC and hybrids, okay, what are the best go-to carriers? Okay, and we broke it down here on one slide. Traditional LTC carriers, standalones, right? What is the hot spot? Where do we go? Two companies come to mind when we talk about competitive premiums and coverage. NGL, Mutual of Omaha, period. When we're thinking hybrid life, right? Life with LTC built in, what you're going to notice, One America. In fact, One America is in two columns there. Life and annuity with LTC. Okay, yes, we do have other options, but the story that One America has to share with you all and that you can share with your consumers, there's nothing that comes close. And I'm not just saying that because Rick is on and they're A+ rated. Okay. When you hear about all the bells and whistles and the latest state approvals, you'll see why. No more excuses unless you're in New York, right? And if so, hopefully you're selling in Connecticut and Jersey and everywhere else as well. Let's keep moving forward. What I want to do next is introduce our featured speaker in the hybrid professional. We have Rick Meal on with us from One America Financial. Rick, you want to say hello?
Billy the Bot, thank you so much. That was terrific.
No problem.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I am the regional sales director, guys, for the state of Florida. took over the role January 1st. I had more of a regional position with other states. We've condensed, and I live right smack dab in the middle of the state in a place that you may have heard of called the Villages. God help me, but that's where I am. We're centrally located, so regardless of where you are in the state of Florida or anywhere, I am in a good position to meet with you. So today we're going to just bring you up to speed on the exciting stuff that we did to modernize asset care. A lot of you know about it, some of you don't, but we were really the granddaddy of them all right out of the box when they instituted hybrid type LTC products and asset-based long-term care. It was all a result of the Pension Protection Act of 2006. And for what it's worth, everything that I speak of today falls under that law. So from a tax planning perspective, there's not a better place to be than where we are in this next 30 minutes. So if you want to go to the next slide, we can begin this. A little bit about what I'll talk about just quickly about One America, just a minute on that. And then the problem that kind of faces us, kind of some of the numbers that Bill talked about, the 25 million who are uncovered, which is an astounding statistic. At the concept of asset-based, and a little bit about asset care and annuity care and the upgrades. So if we want to go on from there, we can get moving and get through this. We have not changed our goals as a firm, as an enterprise in the last 35 years. We stayed extremely strong through that whole entire period at A+, 96 Comdex score now, which is pretty amazing. That's our ability to pay our claims. So we're in the top, 4% of all insurers there. And we're very proud of that. It's still a mutual company, and we're around now about 145 years. As you may or may not know, State Life of Indiana is actually our insurer, and they were the ones that carried that 1877 very proudly going forward, and they've never been stronger. From a flexibility standpoint, this is where we shine. This is where, when Bill said that we're a one-stop shop, we're whole life based, second to die whole life on the life side. So if you're younger and super healthy and enjoying that, then the asset care is absolutely the direction you'll probably be looking to go down. If you're a little older and maybe not so healthy, or if you just have other annuities that are now grown and full of taxation, we can talk about how we can convert taxable annuities into tax-free annuities for the purpose of care, thanks to the Pension Protection Act of 2006. We alone can talk about lifetime protection or lifetime COB riders that can never be outlived, not for one person, but for two. So spouses and domestic partners are fully insurable on one contract, which is huge, and it really does help us with underwriting, being able to spread the risk of not only mortality but morbidity over two lives. So we are really kind of blessed to have that opportunity. And then the people are the same people running the place. Scott Davison, our CEO, is still here after over 25 years and just done a tremendous job holding it all together during COVID and moving us forward. So really, really bright going forward with this company. I've been with them going on 10 years. It'll be 10 years next December, and I'm very proud of what we have to offer. So we can go to the next slide, and I can continue on here. Wow, here's some more numbers to add maybe to your lineup. This is amazing. By 2030, all baby boomers will be 65 or older. I laughed out loud there because I turned 66 this past Tuesday. But what's more daunting here is next year in July, the very first baby boomer turns what? Turns 80 years old. And guess what? They're all up here in the villages. I'm pretty sure. But it's an incredible statistic. And by 2050, almost 25% of the population is going to be, 65 or older, which is just crazy. And of course, Alzheimer's remains a real concern, guys. I wanted this in here today because not only are the numbers rising, but we've got a little kind of a double-edged problem here. Eli Lilly has manufactured a new dementia drug called Leqembi, Leqembi, Leqembi. It is on the market. It is being prescribed. It is covered by Medicare. All of those good things. It is reducing symptoms by over 20%. It is prolonging lives, however, about 27% longer. So that's good news. But it's not a cure, which will require then more care for longer periods of time. So any statistic that you've seen or gotten comfortable with that claims an average length of stay in the 3-year range, I've seen them range from 2.7 to 3.5. I don't know how worthless they could be at this point, or worthwhile they could be, because those numbers are going to increase exponentially here very, very shortly. You have to be aware of that drug and what it does to the whole Alzheimer's dilemma, and it is a huge dilemma. So we are, kind of between a rock and a hard place. And we know the big one is if you have personal experience with this, and Bill and Carrie have heard my story, but, if you don't have an advocate when it comes time to choose a care provider and get into exactly where you want to be as far as assisted living, good luck without some kind of plan in place. Even if you have some assets, they love to know that you have some kind of insurance that can help your client pay these bills. I saw it firsthand in a conference room at my mother's assisted living place when we were told initially that there was a 6-month waiting list. But when we got through their interview in their conference room and they learned that my mother had not one, but 2 long-term care traditional policies, we were immediately escorted down to where her room was and would be for the next 6 years. There was no waiting list. There was no waiting list until they found out that my mother was covered. It was an eye-opening. I got a little sick to my stomach the day it happened, but it's reality. So advocacy is the biggest thing here that long-term care coverage can give a client. It really is. So make a story your own. If you have a story personal to yourselves, the people up in my neck of the woods here in the villages, we've all just gone through our lives, dealing with parents, getting them through the gauntlet. And now it's time to get ourselves through. At 65, your health starts to show some signs of weakness, and it's pretty terrifying. So that's what drives me every day, and I'm going to continue doing this until I can no longer do it. So you're stuck with me, Bill. Let's move on to the next one. So this is good. You can add this into your opening. 74% of the folks think that it's a priority to have some kind of plan in place. I remember the days when it was far less than that. 79% view strength and reputation. Well, that's good news for us at One America. And 84% think that the length of coverage period is important. That's really good for us because we're the only ones with a lifetime rider that can provide this on not only 1 but 2 lives. And we'll move on from here. This is still the best slide in the presentation with all the bells and whistles. This is the slide that I love to show. And if you want to advance it one more time, I think it spreads it out one more time. If you want to go to the next slide. Yeah, this is the one where when you do a seminar or a workshop for clients, and the guy calls you over and says, "Hey, great job on your presentation, but I just need to tell you now, we've been blessed. I'm pretty wealthy, and we don't need long-term care insurance. We have some money to cover that." Wow, those are exactly the words you want to hear, guys, because the Pension Protection Act and asset-based long-term care was designed exactly for this exact person. The one that says, I have some money to set aside on my own because I'm wealthy. Good. Most of them will tell you it's a number around $200,000. We're able to point to that and say, okay, that's great. Let's do that. Let's move forward with that concept. But let me make it even better for you. Because of federal tax law, we're going to let you use your $200,000, but not one more damn nickel more. Because we're going to shift all the risk away from your financial wealth past $200,000, and we're going to make that money work until the day that you die, and your spouse or partner, so that you can never outlive these benefits. And that is invaluable, and frankly, the wealthier the better. So the biggest obstacle to selling long-term care to a wealthy person was that they're going to tell you they can do it themselves. But I would have to hypothetically ask, why would you, when you can turn it into a lifetime of enormous tax-free income? What do wealthy people love more than anything? Tax-free municipal bonds. Well, when you see the kind of income that we can generate on a tax-free basis, you'll see you'd need millions of dollars worth of 30-year zero coupons to match the kind of income that we can match from just a $200,000 investment in this product. So it's amazing when you really just kind of do the math and show them what this gets them. Live, quit, or die. Somebody's getting paid. If you live and need this money for care, you're going to get it, and you're going to get it for lifetime, income tax free. If you quit it and you want your money back, you can get most of it in most cases. We have one product that has 100% guarantee of premium. If you want to do that, we can't do it lifetime, but we can do it for 8 years, and that's still a good period of time. If you die and neither you or your spouse ever use this for long-term care and you go to a better place, tax-free death benefit goes to the kids. So it's for those of you who aren't so familiar, this is the one slide that you could just meet with clients, and you don't need another slide. This is the one, because it's so powerful when you show them what it really looks like in a picture. All right, let's move on. If you have greenbacks, if you have U.S. currency, we can fund either asset care or annuity care. And again, both of our options, both of our versions are terrific. With the asset care on the life side, we can do certainly single premium. We can do recurring premiums, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, pay to 95. And the great thing about our recurring premium is that if you choose one, let's say a 10 pay, and in God forbid in year 2 you have a stroke and you go on claim, we are okay, because we have waiver of premium built into this product where you no longer owe One America one more nickel, which is I like to think of it as an insurance policy inside an insurance policy. So waiver premium for all of our recurring premium plans. 1035 exchange is still a phenomenal way to fund from old annuities, like I said, that have outgrown their usefulness because they become so taxable that the people don't want to go near them. Well, we're able to do an exchange, bring it over, and because of the PPA, Pension Protection Act, we're able to give all that money back, rescue that old annuity that has become such a tax time bomb you don't want to go near it, and we can pay it all back to clients, income tax free, and I'll touch on that in just a minute. And then qualified money. We are also the only carrier who has a one product stop if you have IRA money, 401k, 403b, and maybe the biggest opportunity is in this non-spouse beneficiary IRA space, inherited IRAs. And because of the Secure Act, it changed the tax treatment on that, where now we have to pay the taxes on those assets inherited over 10 years. We've got a perfect solution for that. So we can move to the next slide. And it's Asset Care, and that's our life, second to die whole life product. This was really one of the first in the hybrid space. And here's the 4 areas that we are going to, you can go ahead, yeah, there you go. There's 4 areas that we are moving forward with to enhance. We wanted to make it more simple. We wanted to make it more flexible in pricing, in who can provide care, and how to pay for the care. So flexibility is a big, big part of our enhancements, which just became effective in Florida on June 9th. Florida was late to the game. We actually started our enhancement product back in October of last year, 24. So Florida just very recently approved it. So we've simplified it. We've become more flexible. We've gotten a lot more competitive on pricing, particularly when using inflation riders. And we're enhancing the claims experience by adding in another layer of care to the care journey, if you will. So let's go to the next slide. For those of you who were familiar with our old Asset Care, when it came time to structure how you wanted to pay out the death benefit dollars, we had way too many options. We had 25 months, we had 33 months, we had 50 months, and it was just, your head was spin. So finally, we turned it all into a 2-year period where we will be paying out your death benefit dollars, AOB, acceleration of benefit. So it's going to be 2 years, and then we'll offer a variety of different riders. We can add 2 years, we can add 4 years, we can add 6, and we can add the lifetime rider, which is still probably 70% of our business in Asset Care. And for a good reason. People know they're living longer. They're assessing the ages of their parents, and most of everyone's parents from that generation lived very long, and choosing the lifetime rider. So, but we do have options for sure. We can go to the next slide. But here are the things that we really got granular and said, okay, these are the areas where we needed to become more competitive. Because quite frankly, there were many carriers in the space that were already providing these things that we knew we needed to filter them in. So we're opening up the care providers to, if you remember, we had licensed and bonded was our baseline. You had to be licensed, you had to be bonded to provide the care. That is no longer the case. We are now allowing for independent providers. If you look in the bottom lower right corner, it will show you what those would be examples of. Pretty much anybody with certification in the healthcare industry, if you have any one of those designations, you are now certified to provide the care, and you do not need to be licensed and bonded. And this was really important, guys. I covered Alabama and Mississippi, and you go to those states and you don't have agencies in, Philadelphia, Mississippi. And I've been there. I know. You have your church, and you have your communities from your church, and you have some civic organizations and your neighbors, and that's it. And so independent providers are going to be a big part of, the total picture with Asset Care. Secondly, and this was big because we were without it, cash benefits, indemnity cash benefits are now going to be allowable to pay informal caregivers. Who is an informal caregiver? Anybody not named spouse or son or daughter. Any other family members will be able to provide the care, and that is a big deal. Cousins, relatives, aunts, uncles, We can now take care of grandparents. Those types of things will be allowable. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to pay 75% of the AOB. So if your benefit was $10,000 a month, we'll allow the cash to be paid 75% of that per month. So it will take a little longer than the 24 months. It will take, like, I think it's 34 months now is the amount of time that you can use an informal caregiver and get a cash benefit. So those two things will be allowable during the period that we're paying back the death benefit dollars. Once we go through that AOB period, then it will revert back to reimbursement. And you will no longer be able to have an informal caregiver, but independent providers are fine. And of course, LTC professionals at that point would be fine as well. So cash benefit, indemnity, informal caregiving, good to go during the AOB period. The other area that we've added in is for the informal caregivers. If you're not trained, if you don't have a professional designation in caregiving, you might need help. So what we've added in is once a month, a visit from a caregiver consultant. And we have contracted with a group called Amada Senior Healthcare. And in fact, in the Boca Raton area, if any of you are on from Boca, actually an old friend of yours and well-known name, Keith Birkin, has actually bought that franchise and is operating that franchise in Palm Beach County for Amada Senior Healthcare. So that's very exciting for Keith and for us. And they will be allowed to come in once a month, either in person or virtually, to coach, to teach people how to, to get somebody out of a chair and into a bed, or off a toilet and back to a chair. Or what happens if the insured is lashing out and becoming angry? How do you deal with that? You need coaching. This is still a human game. It's all about money. When we're financial planners and agents, we think about the money aspect. This is people helping people, guys. We can't lose sight of that. And so having this added in is another layer of care. It is just so important to me. And of course, also included now in the contract is the ability to access money for human lifts, monitoring systems. Those types of things are all going to be part of the contract. So we're so happy to have these changes, I'll tell you, and it's made a huge difference just in a month for me, 2 or 3 weeks. We can't believe the difference. So we can go to the next slide. When it comes to pricing, I'm going to show you some examples, but we're seeing big decreases on the COB, even bigger decreases and increase in benefits if you're using inflation riders. So we have a 2% now, which has been added, a 2% inflation rider, a 3% inflation rider, and a 5%. So you'll now have 3 different options if you want to add that added inflation protection. Next slide. I think there's one more on pricing here. No, there's not. That was good. That's it. So very quickly, I'm just going to show you the pricing differences on a couple of options here. On our pay to 95, which is still really popular, thanks to the waiver of premium. If you're young and you don't have, the big amount of money to put down, we can still go, 53 and 51, a $7,500 a year premium is absolutely in play, generates $192,000 in death benefit. And then, of course, they can add that unlimited COB for life, and that will give them, if you want to go to the next slide, we'll tell you the numbers here, $8,000 per person per month forever. That is a big number, considering that before June 9th, that number was just shy of 7,000. So the pricing has really showing itself here. And the next one, if we go to the next, I believe it's a single premium for 2 60-year-olds, $150,000, generates $182,400 in death benefit, $7,600 per person per month for life, income tax free. Wow. It was, again, around $6,000 a month before June 9th. So the numbers have jumped off the page in terms of increase in benefits in most demographics. Not all, but most. The next one is the most important one for you to know about. This I could do a talk on this alone, and it's our annuity funded whole life, which is used to fund from qualified plans, from IRAs, from 401ks, where the majority of the money is. In this case, we're going to show you two 60-year-olds bring over trustee to trustee transfer $200,000 over to us. Guys, it sits in a qualified fixed annuity. That's all it is. So the 160 sits in that annuity, earns some interest, but here's the big news. We are going to bonus that amount that they bring to us by 25%. That would make this a $200,000 bucket of money, okay? Sitting in a qualified account. So every year for 10 years, we are going to pay for our life insurance with 10% of this. So we essentially turn this into a 10-pay at this point. And each year, $20,000 will be dropped into the life insurance and the rider, which would be a taxable event. So if you're 60, of course, that's a taxable distribution, and you're getting ahead of the tax burden that awaits you on that IRA when you're 73. If you're 73, that $20,000 will be applied to your RMD, which is absolutely fabulous. But look what this does, you guys. From $160,000, we have $177,000 death benefit and $7,400 per person per month forever, income tax free, from $160,000 transfer that you made out of an IRA. We're not even asking for new money. We're just asking you to reposition money to create a lifetime of tax-free income. It's astounding to me. And this number was under $6,000 a year just 2 weeks ago. A month ago. So the pricing, again, has really shown itself to be formative. But honestly, this is such a great approach for the non-spouse beneficiary recipient because they have to pay those taxes now in 10 years. And this is a 10-year drop-in, so it's a perfect overlay for someone who inherits an IRA. And it's found money, and the ability to wealth transfer, if you never use it, is another beautiful aspect of this. The great thing, it can be joint. So you're taking an IRA, which is single owned, and turning it into a joint vehicle. We can't ask for more from qualified money, that's for sure. Next one, I think we're wrapping up here pretty quick. Again, just to recap then, during the AOB, we can do either reimbursement to professionals, or we can do informal care and pay an indemnity payment. During the rider period, it's going to all be reimbursement to professionals and independent providers. So flexibility will reign throughout the whole course of this. And we can move on. Again, make sure you have your team assembled. And this, when you're sitting with a client, this is what sells. I just did one Monday morning with for $200,000. They loved the fact that they had a team that was going to help them at every stage. The care benefit concierge, when you go on claim, you got somebody that's going to help coordinate the payment of the bills to the care provider. You've got a care coordinator who will find the care in the first place. And then you've got a care consultant that will come in and coach an informal caregiver during that early stage of care, which is just phenomenal. And then I think the next slide is all about annuity care. And there's only one way I'm going to go with you on this, and we're going to wrap it up. And that is, be aware that our annuities, of course, fall under the Pension Protection Act and are the perfect place for someone between 80 and 87. This idea I'm going to show you is for older folks who haven't touched their annuities, that didn't need their annuities, that are worth plenty of other money. And all of a sudden they look at their annuity and they realize they have $300,000 worth of taxable gain in it. That is a dead asset to them. And I just had this happen to me in the Villages. These two 83-year-old people put $400,000 in a Lincoln American Legacy VA. Last month, it was worth $760,000. They were never going to touch this with a $360,000 taxable gain. We were able to take over that annuity, bring it over. We're not adding any riders to it because they're too old. We don't want any underwriting, which there will be none. There will be 4 questions. Guess what, guys? We're able to turn that entire pool of $760,000 into tax-free money if it's used for long-term care. Guess what else? They had no long-term care in place. Well, guess what? Now they do. They got on a plane the next day and went to Paris for 10 days. They answered 4 questions. I'm going to give them to you real quick. Number 1, are you using any kind of wheelchair, walker, or scooter? No. They were fine. Number 2, did they have AIDS? No. Number 3, had they ever needed care for any of their 6 daily activities? No. They were in perfect condition. And number 4 was that they had any cognitive decline, MS, Lou Gehrig's, and ALS, MS, and Parkinson's. No, they were in perfect condition. So those are the 4 questions. All they have to do is say no to those 4 questions, and this is automatically issued. We don't even make a call to the Medical Information Bureau, and we can take premiums up to $1 million without an exception. If you use me for one thing, use me to help you with this. Let's find the business in your books of business with old annuities that have become pretty much useless because they're too high in tax. And we can change it overnight for these folks who want to generate tax-free income for care. Next slide is just a quick, this is 30 seconds. Again, we can issue up to age 87. The benefits are tax-free. Oh, by the way, if the annuity is single-owned initially, we can turn it into a joint annuity when you bring it over to One America, because we have a line that says eligible person, and you add the spouse or partner onto that line, and you now have a joint-owned annuity. It's unbelievable. And Care Benefit Concierge is also applicable now to annuities, and that's new. So awfully exciting stuff for the older folks with old annuities. This is just a quick, this lady was 77. She put in 100. It's worth 200. She did a 1035 exchange, and now she's got crazy income, either now or even crazier income in 10 years, because we put it into our index annuity, which participates in the market up to 5 or a minimum of 1. And we have a 3% fixed account in there. So depending upon how you want to manage that for the client, it will earn considerably over time. And it's all tax-free coming out for care. So guys, these are the high-level things that can help make you money right now. Right now, we can go to people with old annuities. Right now, we can go to people with large IRAs that are not covered for long-term care. And we can make a big, big difference. On annuity care, too, very quick, as long as you got it up, we have a leverage product up to age 69. Our leverage is 4-to-1. I used to work for Global Atlantic. We had 3-to-1. It was terrific. This is better if you're 69 or younger. 4-to-1 leverage. 200 buys you 800,000 in long-term care benefits, which is just obscene. If you're 70 or older, it's 2.5 times. Still very, very good. So our annuity care suite is alive and kicking, guys. And of course, asset care will always be our favorite.
Great
Bill,
work.
I'm going to stop there. Yeah, I'm going to stop there.
Yeah. Anything else? We're going to put a bow on this, Rick. Anything else you want to mention before we wrap it?
No, I think this is everything we need to know to go make money tomorrow.
Attaboy. That's what we love to hear. Thank you so much. I got a few slides left and then our giveaway. So just bear with me, everyone else.
Sure.
Rick, as always, great work, and we appreciate you. So what I want to mention is, and I know Rick just mentioned this, and I spoke about, you getting active and then, or appointed, and then we'll set up a conference call if needed. Or think about this. If you have an appointment, if you have a large opportunity, if you have a group of agents that work with you, and we need to set up a personalized training, okay? And this could be from Rick live or from us or a webinar, anything you want to do. We're here, all of us, including Rick, and I'll speak on his behalf. We're here to help you and jump in, okay? And that's why what I want to do first is make sure you're appointed, you're active with Levinson and One America, number one. So that's what this slide is in front of you. This will also be in the thank you email that I keep mentioning. Let's keep moving forward because I want to make sure we get everyone out just a few minutes. I want to show you too, we have some great ads, social media ads that we literally pulled right before we launched this webinar because I wanted to show you real life examples that are out there working today as lead generation tools, okay, and ideas. So the LTC and Hybrid Resource Center, this is on our website. This is also a great resource for you to leverage. Here's why. We have a cost of care calculator. You can go over this with your client face-to-face or on a Zoom call, whatever it is. Okay, we have consumer-approved marketing material. Okay, this is for agents. We have an agent section and for consumers, and it's already pre-approved. Fact finders, questionnaires. You can use this to sit down with your client to gain the knowledge you need to run the quote, okay? And again, to know enough to be dangerous, which I said 28 times already, okay? But everything is in front of you. Now you actually have to go on and check it out and then let us know what you think and start using this stuff to make more sales, open more doors. Let's keep moving forward. What I want to talk about next is the ultimate door opener when it comes to LTC, living benefits. Not many people know about this product, okay? And we all know at the end of the day, of course, you want to go for the monster sale where you walk away with 60, 70, or 100,000 of commission. That's great, okay? But you need a way to share the story to get the door open to everyone, okay? So you need something, and when you're running paid ads or you're sending out e-blasts or even posts on your social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, all the above, you need something that gets right to the point, like a 1-2 punch, and the person says, Bill, I want to know more, okay? This product in front of you is a no-brainer. Here's why. Not everyone qualifies for long-term care, okay? We know why, underwriting-wise, right? So this is a virtually guaranteed issue product with 2 knockout questions, okay? Your client, this isn't like some $100 a month LTC benefit. No, the max benefit is $450 a day, which is over almost $14,000 a month, okay? So this will definitely do the job, and it's on our Insure Me Now Direct platform, okay? So that means your client run a quote, you can sign up online all while you are sleeping, or you can have your own link and start to use this online, or of course do it face to face the old school way. It doesn't matter, but this is such a great story to tell, and people will be interested in hearing more. So you got to use this in your pocket. This is with Manhattan Life. I'm telling you, it's a no-brainer, and just about everyone is approved. Let's keep moving forward. Okay, so these are 2 social media posts that are up and running today. Okay, over 490 likes, shares, messages, all the above. And here's what's so interesting. By the way, you can go in your Instagram or Facebook and just put in long-term care, and you can put in top performing posts or recent posts. I always like to see top performing, and then I do a combination of recent, and then we hand pick 1 or 2 for these webinars. But take a look. Left-hand side, is this rocket science? No, right? It just says myth and fact. The myth is, oh, my health insurance covers all my long-term care expenses. The fact, private health insurance only pays for doctor and hospital bills, not extended care at home or in a LTC facility. Okay? Very easy. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The right-hand side, this one did 4 times better. The longer you wait to buy long-term care, the more expensive it is. Start shopping now in your 40s and 50s, right? Get locked into a low premium. Hello? you can do the same thing. It just opens the door where Shelly and Bobby and Susie say, Bill, I want to know more. Can I get a quote? Okay. And then boom, you come in like Superman or Superwoman, set up the appointment, and hopefully make the sale. Okay. So now, hopefully, you know the basics, like I said earlier. Okay, let's keep moving. We got just a couple more slides, and my question of the day, we'll get everyone out right at 3 p.m. Eastern. These are all of our podcasts for 2025. Some of these talk all about long-term care. Some talk about Facebook ads, social media ads, leveraging AI. We have Grant, top right corner. He turned out to be $1 million producer in a very short time. Okay, he was at our expo. Great story that you should listen to. If you pick up a nugget or two, it's a win. It's well worth the 45 minutes you spent for free. Let's keep moving. Okay, this is our local agent training coming up, and I hope you can make it in South Florida, in Boca, on August 5th. We're capped at 50, so hopefully you get in your RSVP ASAP. It's with F&G, and it's broken up into half life, half annuity. So this is going to be a great 2.5 hours with 2 different VPs, and of course the Levinson team will be there. Let's keep moving. These are our upcoming training events. I want to point out a couple great things that you need to write down. Number one, we have an Allianz IUL workshop that's also going to be in Boca in September, where you get free CE credit just by attending, plus the free breakfast, okay? And you get to hang out with all of us for a couple hours. That's going to be great in September. And then all of these upcoming webinars, if you want to learn more about that home health care product I mentioned, virtually guaranteed issue, that's around the corner next week on the 24th. We're going to have the VP on live. Let's keep moving to our last and final slide and my question of the day, and we're actually on time. This is my Positive Tuesday quote of the week. Empires aren't built in a day. They're built every single day. It's about patience and persistence. It's about trying something new. It's about investing in yourself and your practice and moving the needle, right? It doesn't work, you try again. It doesn't work again, you try again. When do you stop trying? Never, okay? That's how we built this business in a nutshell since 1972. Hopefully, and I know for a fact you're doing the same exact thing. Question of the day, we'll put a bow on this for the final time. I spoke about Insure Me Now Direct and marketing online, that we hired a new person in-house to head this up for us. What is his name? And you win the Apple AirPods and prospecting book, 100% complimentary, as long as you're an active agent with Levinson. Whoever says it first wins. Andrew's going to tell us who was correct and first. What was the person's name that we hired to run the Insure Me Now Direct platform and marketing in general? What is his name? And you win. Andrew?
Okay, we have Lakia W. Lakia W.
Lakia W. His name is Wes Ayers. Reach out anytime. Congrats, Lakia. Congrats to all of you, because you hung in there for 60 minutes, and I know you walked away with an idea or two, because I did. I learned a lot. Okay, so hopefully it was worth it. Leave some feedback. Leave a review. Look for our thank you email tonight. Great selling. We're here for you every step of the way. Thanks, Rick. Thanks to every single one of you listening today.